gathered. She's delighted to be here, and she's here to hear your concerns. This is everyone's opportunity as a veteran to talk directly to her and tell her what the issues that you've encountered within the VA system have been. My name is John Coles. I'm the military affairs liaison for her here in the Honolulu office. Maybe you would know me via email or casework that I may have done to you. So without further ado, Congressman Gabbard.
Aloha, good afternoon. Thank you all for coming out today. I appreciate the opportunity always to be able to come and say hello to each of you, and really what today's about is us being able to listen. There have been a lot of things in the news and a lot of conversations that have been going on recently about the VA and care for veterans overall, and collectively. My purpose and my goal of having these listening sessions in every county across the state this week is to make sure that as a community we are listening and doing our best to make sure that all of you receive the care that you deserve. I want to first, I know we have Tracy here from the VA, but I think it's helpful to do the same here like we did, and just understand that this is an informal conversation amongst friends and amongst family. It's great to have the VA here. It's great to have OBS here because there are a lot of questions that came up last night that I didn't know the answer to, and that Tracy was able to address and get resolved immediately. I also want to introduce my team here because if you haven't already worked with them, you probably will. We have the largest number of casework that we take in our Hawaii office has to do with veterans casework, whether it be benefits or claims or other issues. And the number one point person on my team is John Towles. He is was an Army medic, went through the Wounded Warrior program and began as a fellow in my office. Went through the Warrior Transition Units and has been a really stellar member of my team and being able to help adjudicate issues that veterans have within our office within our district. I want to introduce Walt Kaniakua. Walt is my Hawaii Chief of Staff. He is a retired Air Force pilot and also has done many things in his life, but most recently worked for Senator Inouye as his military and veterans liaison for several years here in Hawaii. We have Anya Anthony here in the back. Anya makes sure we all show up where we need to be on time and with everything that we need. We have Jay King here. Jay is a former Marine. We have every branch of veterans represented in my office except for the Coast Guard. So my Navy veteran is not here today, but we've got a good crew representing, and we've got Erica Suji here, who is going to be taking some notes and documenting what's happening here today. Again, I'm going to keep my opening remarks just brief because this is about us being able to listen to you, whether you have questions or issues that you want to bring up that are of a broader scale that have to do with VA policy perhaps, or legislation, or even we had some questions come up about state legislation last night, or if you have very individual specific concerns that have to do with a case or a claim that you have. That's why my team is here, to be able to take that information down directly so that we can pursue that and follow up with you on resolving those issues. I just want to talk briefly about what's happening now in Congress as it relates to General Shinseki's resignation and as it relates to some of the policies and legislation that's being introduced to see how we can make sure we have a VA that is best addressing the needs of our veterans across the board. There's a lot of different proposals being put forward. My fear has been, ever since this erupted in the last several weeks, and many people were calling for Eric Shinseki's resignation, was that as soon as that occurred, that people's attention would be placed elsewhere, that they would say, okay, well, you know, he resigned and someone's being held accountable, problem solved, now let's move on to the next story. Let's move on to the next headline. And unfortunately, that's exactly what has happened, literally within the span of 48 hours. So it's going to be critical for us in our role as members of Congress, but also I think for the community at large to continue to speak up about ways that we can continue to improve service to veterans, to make sure that something that was essentially symbolic, which didn't actually serve to fix any of the problems, that the action doesn't stop there. There's some legislation that Senator Bernie Sanders is about to introduce and will be holding a hearing on this week, I believe, either this week or next week in the Senate. The House Chairman, Jeff Miller, is looking at legislation, a comprehensive legislation piece himself. And this is really where your feedback today is helpful, and where your stories are going to help shape the conversation that's happening in Washington. So.
Hi Tulsi, I'm Tina Quizon. I'm a veteran and I'd like to share. This is Brenda Lee Garcia. It's been a year since I contacted you. When Brenda Lee Garcia was homeless, a National Guard, banging her head against the concrete wall because she was being put back on the street, homeless for going on active duty. You never responded to me. You've continued to ignore the rotten meat that the veterans were being served by the U.S. vets, that the VA, a federally funded program, authorized. The soda that when I exposed this was thrown away. This is more than a year old. The luncheon meat was more than 4 months old. Tulsi, I contacted you, you've ignored me. I believe this type of no response. I'm a veteran, may I speak? My question is, I believe Ron Hahn, Kimberly Cook, yourself have impeded a federal investigation. I handed a letter to General Shinseki on September 2013 about all these things. I've not received any due process. Where's my due process as a veteran? You said we're here to speak. I asked to speak. You want to interrupt me? So again, without the, if you're only going to sugar everything down, and the truth is not going to come out, I had to triage this girl banging her head against the wall because she was being kicked out of the program after being told, please write a letter, write a letter. When she went on active duty, she had become homeless. She's banging her head against the wall. I called you. You never responded, Tulsi. Nathan Miyagi, Ron, you were at the meetings of the so-called investigation and free, withdrew. These were supposed to be federal investigations of my complaints. Where is my investigation? How does this happen to veterans? How are we served rotten meat when this young lady tells me this is 4 months old meat that I'm being served, and your errors, I'm thrown in jail because I, as a whistleblower, went to you for help, went to Ron, to the Attorney General, to General Shinseki, and instead all I got was no cease and desist, no protection under the No Fear Act.
I don't have the.
Okay, I like this. A privacy release. And yet my files were left out unsecured. I was written up for it. When I secured my files, and you want to go down to this, but my files are left out to the wind. Now you want, you know what? I signed this. Your office has it. Brian Schatz's office has it. The governor has it.
If you'd like, we can talk to you about your questions out in the hallway, miss, so we can move on to some other things.
So you're not even going to ask me if I'm done? You just want to,
We have to spread
want to
around and make sure everybody
sugarcoat
has
it? Okay. I want answers. I want my formal investigation.
And we will look into that.
I've
I
been
don't-
hearing
I
that
don't-
over and over again. How many times have I
You offered
heard
you
that?
a federal requirement through,
You kicked me
Andy
out of the
Dahlberg.
program that
And
I, as a
Attorney
veteran, no.
the record reflects
You
it.
mandated. You didn't give me any options. You mandated it. You impeded it. investigation that you said was the fourth or fifth investigation?
This is a response issue. Let's move on to another
But
veteran.
this is exactly why we're at this point.
John will talk to you
When
with
I
colleagues.
sent a letter to General Shinseki in September 2013, I've been going through this since January 2013, writing everyone. When you want to sit there and not listen to me, that's why we're at this point. Why Shinseki resigned.
Thank you. You heard me. I don't have access to all of our cases here today, so we're gonna need to take your name and your
You have my
information,
name.
and we
I
can
filled
follow
that out
up.
how many times? I am Tina Quizon.
Thank you.
I've been talking about this. The investigation has been impeded.
Thank you, Tina. We're gonna take your information and we'll
This is
follow up with
criminal.
you. We'll follow up with you.
When people can sit and earn a paycheck and not protect and give benefits and services to the veteran, it's criminal.
You've
It's
got
wrong.
a chance to help. Do you mind pointing?
Well, I've been waiting for you already have one of those. Why am I gonna fill out something I
I'm
filled
asking-
out how many times to your office? I spoke to
We're
Sheriff
required by
Carter.
law, excuse me, Tina, we're required by law.
You have it.
Before we can open up any
have
information,
it.
then we have your name and we'll follow up with you. Thank you very much. Private sector physicians, that they will at least be able to access that information, even if it's not using the same system. So this is, as Tracy said, this is something that is urgent and long overdue, and given today's technology, is something that really is inexcusable.
Colonel Hahn.
Ron Hahn should be fired. He denied veterans their rights, fed us rotten meat. I see no due process. I still don't have a primary care doctor after over 5
I'm going to call for a recess. Madam, if you could sit and not interrupt these proceedings, you may continue
Well, if
to
you
deal
would give
with
veterans
them.
their rights, as I've been trying to have years.
State. We also thank the congressional delegations that have also done similarly likewise, and for the public record, I'd also like to
Service Veterans on August 19, 2014. At the live hearing, I gave testimony at Maisie's field hearing. She ordered Orello to remove my testimony. Her staff tried to deny me the right to video. As a veteran, this also occurred at the VA. I've been fed rotten expired meat that Ron Hahn was privy and sat in all the meetings too. This is the expired meat. When I told the Honolulu Advertiser, they did an article, U.S. Vets, Daryl Vincent, the meat of the mission. That was the response I got. On April 3rd, 2013, I went to the VA stressed because of the punishment, retaliation, and harassment I was receiving. I was refused any services. I received no doctor appointment, stood there asking for help for the harassment, being fed rotten meat. My files and personal medical record information was left out in January at the U.S. Vets, a VA-funded program. Unsecured, I secured my files. I was punished and retaliated and harassed. I have been turned into a criminal, a veteran, never ever arrested. I was arrested and taken away without any choice and had to become homeless again. And Ron Hahn sat in these meetings. I filed formal complaints to General Shinseki. I've been denied over and over again. Every time I tried to speak out about this at Tulsi Gabbard, I was told to be quiet. And this is why we're at this point. At the YWCA, this young lady's iPad was stolen, and Rhonda Jones of the YWCA erased critical information while I was being punished for taking pictures of the rotten meat inside the refrigerator that I was being fed. Other clients were taking pictures and not being thrown out of the program. They erased this evidence. I continue to be harassed. There's been no formal investigation, even though Ron Hahn told me we were on the 4th investigation. You hired him free. I received no due process. As I said, on April 3rd, 2013, that was already 5 months in. I had never went to the VA in 30 years. I was a domestic violence victim, became homeless, went to the VA for help after 30 years. And all I got was handcuffed and took away. I have a criminal record now. It says felony in a drug court. I'm not a felon. I don't do drugs. You can think all this isn't relevant. It's extremely relevant. You can continue to ignore it, as Tulsi Gabbard and Horona's office has, Brian Schatz. I handed a letter to General Shinseki, hand-carried it, the National Guard helped me in September 2013. I want my due process of my formal complaints. This has been really hard, and I apologize, but you need to know the way veterans are being treated. We were given old rotten soda that was thrown away immediately as soon as I took these pictures and shared it with the media. Brenda Lise Garcia was banging her head in the closet because she had to become homeless as a National Guard going on active duty for 2 weeks. She was told she could stay in the program. I triaged her. You can say this isn't relevant. I lived through this, okay? You can't tell me it's not relevant. And when I go to you for the stress of the retaliation and the harassment, and I don't even get an appointment, I'm refused and denied services. I probably went way over my time. There's so much here that I could share. This has been a travesty. It needs to be talked about. You guys can continue to ignore me. I lived through this as a veteran. This is the war I'm living. I've never seen a theater, a war theater, till I went up to the VA. 30 years after an honorable discharge.
Thank you. Thank you.
I'm going to submit my testimony also. And I want my record expunged. You guys called me a thief and a liar, and I was handcuffed and removed. I had no choice. I was told I would never be evicted from a homeless program. And this is what a $28 million program does for a veteran, turns them into a criminal.
Thank you. Look, just change the batteries real quick. So.
There is a question. Where's my formal investigation? There is a question. I want my due process. Excuse me, Ron Hunt, don't speak for me. This is my question. Thank you. I heard him tell you, is there a question? The question is, where's my formal investigation of my complaints? And my due process. The VA has denied me my rights over and over again.
We've
Thank
heard,
you.
we
Sorry.
will take care of it. Don't touch it.
My name
Hi, I'm Tina Quizon. Maisie Hirono censors veterans on August 19, 2014. At the live hearing, I gave testimony at Maisie's field hearing. She ordered O'Mello to remove my testimony. Her staff tried to deny me the rights of video. As a veteran, this also occurred at the VA. I've been fed rotten expired meat that Ron Hahn was privy and sat in all the meetings. That the VA, a federally funded program, authorized. The soda that when I exposed this was thrown away. This is more than a year old. Luncheon meat was more than 4 months old. Tulsi, I contacted you, you've ignored me. Mazie Hirono censors veterans on August 19, 2014. At the live hearing, I gave testimony at Mazie's field hearing. She ordered Olelo to remove my testimony. Her staff tried to deny me the rights of video.